Recently, I upgraded from a 1080p 144 hertz monitor, an LG, up to a 4K Ultra Gear, also an LG. Now, the main thing that I was shooting for by swapping from 1080 to 4K and rather than going up to 2K 1440p first was that I was actually told that my streams really weren't up to snuff, and that kind of hurt my pride. So I went ahead and used my American Express rewards points, not a sponsor, and we went ahead and got the 4K monitor. Now, what we did was I wanted to show off what the biggest difference between 1080 and 4K are, and some of the major differences that you notice when you're playing a game. Now, as you'll see, we start with Gray Zone Warfare. Now, the biggest thing about Gray Zone is it is a very, very demanding game. So while I am on 4K and you can see the major differences, the clarity in between 1080 and 4K, the biggest issue that I still had was that the frame rate, it wasn't where it was at 1080. And so it does not translate as well through video as it does when you're looking at it in person. Now, 4K is actually pretty darn close to exactly what it looks like while you're playing the game. So, as you can see, we're taking some shots here at, it's actually just right outside of the Mithras base. Mithras for life right now. For now. That's what Regiment wanted to do, so that's what we decided that we were going to do. But so this is just right down next to the grocery. We're taking some shots. We're firing at some enemies. But as you can see, the biggest difference that you, right off the bat, is the sharp lines of the weapon and how the texture just looks so incredibly real. It's so smooth compared to what 1080p has to offer. 1080 is still very clunky, but passing that red shelf, you can see those lines that are cutting across, and it just gives you that depth of field that you don't really get with 1080. Now, the clarity of these signs that we're looking at, and especially once we turn the flashlight on, you can tell the actual sharpness around the letters, and the response time is actually pretty good with 4K. Now, the only other thing that I've had to mess around with is there's a lot of settings within NVIDIA, because I'm running a 4080 Super with an i7-13700K CPU with 32 gigs of RAM. I do feel that I need more RAM in my PC, and we're also going to be adding a little bit more memory as well. Now, one of the benefits that I have of living in Houston is that we have gig speed internet, and my upload and download is right about gig speed. We fluctuate in between 930 and 980 all the way up to the full gig speed, but that has never really given me any issue. Now, the beautiful thing about playing Gray Zone in 4K is, one, over the past 2 years, how far this game has come and how much they're actually optimizing it, but it's being able to go through the jungles of Lemang and see how crisp the jungle looks with the improved audio of 0.4, which just released a few weeks ago. It's truly remarkable to see how far this game has come and how it actually should look when you play it with a system that can handle the graphics load. I played on a 2070 Super for the first 6 months that I was trying to play. And that didn't work out very well because I had a processor that was meant for, I believe it was as a server. It was actually meant to be a server PC. And we upgraded to this, and obviously Redneck, our buddy Vigilant Redneck over in Louisiana, he got our previous PC when we upgraded to this one. And he's still playing Gray Zone on that PC today. And I'm hoping that with that update, it actually gave him way more optimization than what I dealt with when the game first came about. Now, obviously, the next game that we had to check out was DayZ. DayZ for me has always been about who can see each other first. You have to be able to spot the differences in a Zed that's aggroed a little bit further away, or the viewing distance on a different server being a little bit further than 1,100 meters, which is kind of the stock standard distance. Now, as we get into DayZ, there's a couple things that I want you to notice. The foliage, when you actually zoom in and out, I call it the squint. When you squint and you go back to regular, you'll notice that the further away trees and shadows on 1080, they do not render as quickly as it does on 4K. It still occurs because, you know what? This engine is, 12 years old? More, maybe a little bit longer. But even in this scene right now, you can tell that it's experiencing a little bit of the lag. And then once you stop, you do get some clarity from the foliage. Now, we moved over to Sakal. The snow, it just immediately looks way better. I mean, you're looking down at the buildings. You can see the sharp lines of the buildings. And the one thing I did notice when we were actually playing this live was that you could see people from a really, really long way away. It was very evident. The difference is truly a leg up when you're playing in that higher resolution. So it does kind of begin to feel like it may be a little pay to play. I mean, not within the game, but within the technology. I mean, I can only imagine how good and maybe even how different these would look if it was played on a 50 series monitor, if we were playing on a 50 series card, excuse me. Like with this being a 4070 Super, it would probably look even better on any of the 80 or 90 series from the 3s, the 4s, or the 5s. So it's very interesting to me to see how the resolution and how quickly this game can change just by having that little bit. The actual thing that made me want to swap was we had a viewer come in and he said that my viewing the viewing experience just wasn't the best on YouTube. And not only did that hurt my pride, but it made me feel like I needed to step it up as a creator, because I know if I go into someone's stream and they have bad graphics but good audio, and good audio or bad graphics, those things start to compile. But the less things that someone notices, the better, and then they're not thinking about it. So I hope that this has shown you guys a little bit of insight into two of the games that we love to play over on Paradise Gaming and Paradise 44 on Twitch. But I hope that maybe the 4K monitor prices will come down. Again, like I said, I bought this with my American Express reward points that I've been building for years, and I bought it through Amazon, which actually gave me more points towards my purchase. So I turned all my purchases over X amount of years into getting a 4K monitor for free, which is sick. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was helpful in some way, shape, or form. The reason that I didn't put the frame rate and stuff like that is I didn't want this to be a super muddied up video. I wanted it to be more like, hey, check it out. So be kind, stay friendly. We'll see you in the next one. Paradise.